it's good. Be aware, you know, of yourself, your surroundings. Be aware for your neighbors, your neighborhood. Those are all good things. Those are all things that can help prevent things like this. So,
how'd you actually get inside?
Well, first of all, you don't want to look so suspicious. So what I wear is a construction vest. Come on.
How does this vest help you?
Well, it makes you look more, natural, I mean,
I used to do door-to-door sales before I went to law school, and to not look like a salesman, I wore an orange construction vest, and people would open up the door for me every freaking time. They would open the door, hey, what's going on? Thinking that I needed to tell them, hey, we're about to shut your gas off for a little while or something like that. No, I was there to sell them pest control. It is fascinating how something like that can completely disarm people and sort of throw them off of their mental game or whatever is going on. You look out the door, you see a polo shirt and khaki shorts, salesman, right? But you look out the door and you see an orange vest, no, that guy's cool, he's just out here for the power company or something.
You might be checking the gas station or something. You can say hi to the neighbors, if you see them. Okay, so you see these windows? I can easily open them with my hands, but you don't want to make it too obvious. So let's go on to the back. Now, you should need to keep the doors open on the sides. Come on.
Hi, I'm Zach Cass, former head of go-to-market at OpenAI. Welcome to my course on AI for business. Over the last...
Like these old-style houses, they're easier to break in. Everything's made out of wood. Remember, you don't want to leave any fingerprints. Come on. Okay, it's locked. Let's go check around the side. Usually people don't lock their side doors. All right, go ahead and try it. Wait. Remember, you gotta have the gloves on.
Oh, yeah.
I was just testing you, man. All right, it's locked. But check this out, look. What I got.
Is that a credit card?
Yeah.
Wow, you did that so easily.
Easy money. Come on.
Once in...
I'm embarrassed to admit that I did learn how to card a door at church. Sorry, society. I don't know what else to say about that, but it is actually that easy. So, have your bolt lock done, because that door that he's working on right there, the bottom lock is facing out, the curved part is facing out, and you can easily push the little latch with a credit card because that curved part is facing out. The bolt lock, you can't do that. Lock your dadgum bolt lock.
Side, the goal is to figure out where a burglar might target first.
Got a
Understanding
dead
their
gun in
thought process could help you protect your home.
What other things do you look for to get inside?
Usually houses like this have a basement. You can check that. If not, your last resort is to go to the upstairs window. And those ones are always open.
So where's the first place you'd head to?
Kitchen. Usually they keep a spare key there. Come on. Usually people keep their key in a drawer here. There it goes.
Now, why are you looking for a key?
Just in case I want to come back. They have a lot of nice stuff here, and I definitely want to be a continuing visitor. You see anything you like?
No, I don't do the robbing.
You know what I mean? They got good taste in
I love that he's trying to pretend like they don't know, no, we don't know whose house this is, we just walked in here. Look, law by Mike here, he didn't just commit a felony, okay? He's not committing a criminal trespass. They set this up, this is somebody's house that they know that they're coming here, and they told him, yeah, we're gonna come break into your house, try to lock it up and everything, but don't make it too hard for us, okay? Clearly. Because otherwise, Mike here is gonna lose his law license because he just committed a felony with this guy. They just said, yeah, we're here to take stuff. So, breaking and entering the dwelling house of another, it used to be under common law that you had to do it at night, but with the intent to commit a felony therein. They removed at night. Most modern statutes left the other 5 factors of burglary. So, breaking and entering, they opened the door, they entered the house, a dwelling house of another. This isn't their house theoretically, with the intent to commit a felony therein is the fact that they want to steal something on the inside. So, they would be committing burglary right now. They're not doing it on camera. They're not. So clearly, it's somebody's house that they know.
You can take their drinks.
Yeah, for later on. But look, we already been here a minute. Come on, let's go to the master bedroom.
All right. What's so special about the master bedroom?
Well, here's where all this good stuff is at. Passports, cash. All right, so I don't really want to spend too much time here. I just want to grab anything I can and just be out. You know what I mean? In, out, that's it.
So if someone's watching this video and they want to keep burglars out, what's the best way to do that?
Well, first of all, I think you should get a small dog. The smaller, the better. That's all loud. Get some cameras.
Now, what about the doors and windows?
I mean, get some bars if you have to. It depends on your community. But I would say get some deadbolts, and honestly, get some prop money. 9 times out of 10, the robber won't even check that as real.
So it's not about making the house impossible to break into. It's about making it more difficult than it's worth for
burglar, pretty much.
So when we entered the house, the first places we went were the kitchen and the master bedroom. Where do you suggest viewers hide their valuables if it's not in those places?
I would say in the bank, but if you really have to, somewhere in the restroom. They'll never check that.
And where in the bathroom?
Put it in the stall. Put it in the bag, in the Ziploc bag, really tight.
You're talking about the part that you lift off of the toilet where all the water is? Ah, okay.
They'll never check that. I never have.
But now we're meeting someone who went.
Sorry, hang on. Cut this part, don't put this in the video.
It's only on the live.
It's what?
Live.
Oh, it's live right now? Hi, who we live on? Which
YouTube.
On YouTube? Alright, well, this part's gonna go in the video because my wife's calling. You don't ever reject a call from your wife, especially toward the end of the day.
Someone asks if you're a lawyer.
Someone asked if I'm a lawyer? Yeah, I'm a lawyer. I'm a licensed attorney in Arizona and New Mexico.
Where's the desktop rate counter?
What?
I don't know what a desktop rate counter is.
I have no idea what that means.
Don't take your homework protection ideas from Home Alone. It is really.
All right. Very important. The kids are trying to go to Taekwondo.
Here we go.
And apparently I had their bags in the expedition. Okay, so that's what was so important for my wife to get a hold of me during the video shoot. Okay, going back. Here we go.
Even further, he stole from an international bank using an everyday laptop. So tell me about one of the biggest jobs you've pulled off.
People hire me to take the role of the criminal and to do an actual robbery. I was hired to rob a bank in Lebanon, and the problem was I didn't realize there was two different banks so close together. I didn't pay attention to the signage, so I just walked up the stairs. I compromised one machine, then I compromised another machine, and then a person finally did the right thing. What are you doing here? And I was like, oh, I'm doing a USB audit, which is just nonsense. But he's like, well, you need to talk to my supervisor, which was also the correct thing. So I go into the supervisor's office. She reads the forged email that I have to show that I have authorization to be here, just to test them to see if they'll still let me do my thing. And she reads it, and then she looks at me and she says, okay, I see this, but this is for the bank next door. What are you doing here, and what did you do to our computers?
When you hacked into the bank, what were you able to see?
That's the thing. It's like once the system's compromised, it's like I'm literally just like the user who's logged onto the system. I can see anything that's on that system, anything that's on that network. I can look through clients' records. I can see their debt. I can see their transaction history.
You can see how much debt people had? I've actually been getting a lot of messages from my viewers about debt lately. Medical bills, credit cards, personal loans. That's why I'm happy PDS Debt is this video sponsor, because they actually help people get in control of their finances. Did they just let you go?
That was good sponsorship integration. I gotta give it to him. That was really freaking good. But doing it smooth like that instead of just, I want to thank the sponsor at the very beginning of the video, which is total crap. But why on earth would the bank know the debt of the individual? I mean, the debt that's held with that bank. Sure, if you have a credit card that's with Chase and your bank account is with Chase, sure. But he's talking about medical debt and things like that. Why on earth would a bank know what your medical debt is? I mean, maybe they check your credit, maybe they've got a record of it, but an ongoing record? I don't know. That would be news to me, but it's possible.
Oh no, it took me over 4 hours. And as soon as they found out that I was not supposed to be there, I mean, within minutes, I'm in the general manager's office, sitting at his desk while there's 7 people speaking Arabic very angrily around me. It took 4 hours not to end up in Lebanese prison.
Interesting. Hearing what happened really reminds me of how much PDS Debt helps its customers. They don't just throw you into some generic program. First, they run a free debt assessment to understand your exact situation, your savings, income, everything. Then they lay out personalized options that fit your budget and goals. And it's not just banks, right? It's also individuals. You could hack someone in a place like this, right?
One of the things you see in the movies is like they try to make it all complicated. It looks like it's all this code floating around. No, it's just a matter of certain kind of devices that can take over a network. And I have several of them with me right now.
For some people, PDS Debt can help by providing
Oh my
debt
gosh.
consolidation.
Yeah, this one's not
Combining
as good.
everything
This
into
is the
one managed
third
plan.
integration
No
in
minimum
like 2
credit card
minutes.
score required. Get a free debt analysis right now at pdsdebt.com.
We're either going to get sponsorship from PDS or we're going gonna cut
That's
this out of the final video.
pdsdebt.com/law-by-mike.
They're
This is
paying
not
me or they're not
Jason's
gonna be in there.
laptop. It hasn't been tampered with. Jason, show us what you can do to it.
I've got quite a selection. It's like of what I can do with it. Everything I'm pulling out is a hacking device.
Really?
No matter what it looks like, it will not equal good times for your network.
Okay.
Well, I'm not done yet.
You use all this to rob a bank?
I like to have options. It's like, but yes, every single thing of these can be used to rob a bank. I'll go up to a receptionist or an assistant to a CEO. These are my normal looking hearing aids. They're actually my real hearing aids. I'll be in a suit looking all professional and I'll go, can I charge the hearing aids on your computer because the power on the wall is too powerful? What monster's not going to let me charge my hearing aids? So I plug it in and then it's game over. You're compromised.
All right, so all I do is just plug this in and we'll attack my computer?
Just plug it in.
That's messed up and pretty genius at the same time. Oh, I paused it just in time.
Imagine
Hitting
being
another
able to build
dadgum
it.
ad.
Just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
And skip.
Wow. All right, let's see what happens.
No one's touching the keyboard, nothing up our sleeve.
What? Look, it just opened something. Oh man, it's like typing all this stuff on here. If I let you charge those hearing aids, you can take the data from my computer?
I can take all the data from your computer. I can take your identity. I will have all your stored passwords. I will have all your surfing history. And while you're still on the machine, I can still control it without you even realizing. I can find the information just on your social medias to like be able to call the bank, give them the password reset questions that you probably have, change my voice, change the story, and make them actually reset passwords. I have done that over the phone.
So basically, you can ruin someone's life because they decided to plug in a single charging cord.
I can.
So my question here for this guy, and I hope they're going to get around to it, is what makes a good mark for somebody like this, right? I mean, the guy that's just a pickpocket is just saying, I'm looking for people not paying attention. I'm just going to reach in their pocket and steal whatever they have. How does this guy know that breaking into a computer is even going to be worth it? I mean, is he just looking for the guy in the most expensive suit, the guy that rolled up in the Ferrari? Like, it'll be interesting to actually find out what he's looking for.
I can ruin someone's life. I can destroy a company based off of these kind of attacks.
So what can people do to protect themselves from this?
Number one thing is don't plug into things into your computer that you're not aware of, that you didn't buy, you don't know. And another thing that you can do is like multi-factor is amazing. It's like password managers are amazing. But attackers are also now finding ways to bypass that with the human element by spamming multi-factor authentications until someone gets tired and says accept when they shouldn't. So it's all about the person being aware and just not being in a hurry and just doing it without thinking.
Slow down, think about it.
Yes.
All right, Jason, thank you so much for breaking this
He
all
didn't
down.
do it.
You know,
He didn't say what makes a good
Thank you for
mark.
having me. I really love the
Dadgummit.
opportunity to educate people.
One thing I
Almost
wanted
as
to
much as
know.
robbing people, so
Call
thank
him
you.
back, Law by
You've seen how
Mike.
criminals steal from your computer. Now we're
Does Mike have a last name? I'm sure he does. I don't know. Sorry, Mike. Mike is your last name. Law by is your first name for now. Sorry.
going to see how they steal from your bank accounts. Meet Zane, a guy who made his living skimming credit cards and quietly swiping financial info from thousands of people without ever getting caught. Since he's managed to stay under the radar, he's asked us to blur his face to keep him anonymous. But today he's here to show us exactly how it all goes down, and more importantly, how you can protect yourself.
If you ever been to a gas station or ATM, one of these has probably been sitting on top. We could go inside and I'll show you how it works. I normally target low-income gas stations whose clerks aren't really aware of what's going on.
What time of day do you...
So common theme, aren't really aware, not aware, aren't paying attention. So hopefully the lesson learned here, pay attention.
normally do this?
In the daytime around 5 or 6, that's when most people get off work. That's when the clerks are more busy.
How do you get it on without the clerk noticing?
All right, so I usually have my friend just come in here and distract the clerk. So I'll tell them, go in there and go get a pack of batteries or something. Take it to the batteries, and then it will just clip right on, and then I'll just walk right out.
How long does it take to put that on?
Literally 1 second.
And you get their PIN, you get everything?
Everything.
Wow.
So once the skimmer is on, I can get information on credit cards, on visas, on anything you name. It will come right to my phone. It's Bluetooth.
And you get this anywhere in the world?
Yes, no matter where I'm at.
What's the longest you had one of these on collecting information?
My longest is 8 months.
What's the biggest thing you ever bought with stolen cards?
The craziest thing probably was Disney. I did that for my son's birthday. I bought his flight, his hotel, and everything we did in the park was basically free.
Did you ever think about the people whose money you're spending?
Sometimes I feel bad, but I mean, it's a part of the game. So it's like, do I care? I do, but it happens to everybody. It happened to me.
Wait, you got scammed? You didn't check to see if there was a skimmer on there?
My food stamp card got scammed for $300.
On a similar thing, a machine just like that?
Wait. Did that guy just say he's on food stamps too? Like he's scamming from everybody, but apparently scamming's just not a very good business because, or, well, I mean, you know, people say crime doesn't pay. Apparently crime doesn't pay taxes. You don't report the income. So I guess that's an incomplete thought. I never thought about that. He's not reporting income, so he can get food stamps too. And then his food stamps card got scammed. Wow.
Similar thing.
So why don't you do it anymore?
I don't do it anymore because I have a kid now. I want to elevate my kid to be a better person than I was.
That's a great reason. Now that you're on the other side of it, what should people do to avoid falling for this scam?
I would say mostly you try to use cash. Your card information literally can get anywhere, even at ATM.
Is he on the other side of it? Everything he just said was in present tense. Sometimes I feel bad. Like in the present tense, saying, you know, things are still happening. I hope he's past it. I hope he has turned his life around and made a change and everything. But I happen to notice that. If we go back a few seconds, you'll see. He said, yeah, sometimes I feel bad. Present tense, still doing things. Anyway, all right.
Gas stations, corner stores, Walmarts, anywhere.
Are there any tips for people to find out if the skimmer is on the machine?
You could feel around it to see if there's anything clipped on it. And there's another way is if you put your card in, and then if you wiggle it, the top of it, it would wiggle with it because it's a little bigger.
When you scan your phone on it, does that work?
Not really.
It has to actually be inserted.
Inserted, yeah.
So that's another big tip for people. Do the tap cards if you have one. What about credit versus debit?
I would say use credit more because debit, your money is going to be automatically gone. Credit, it got strong security on it.
Zane, I appreciate you sharing this info. It's not easy admitting to the damage we caused, but your insight may save someone from becoming the next victim. We've seen how criminals take from our wallets, our homes, our computers, and even our accounts. But this next man, he was on the FBI's most wanted list. Hey, Matthew. All right, let's get straight to it. How does someone steal a house on paper?
It's actually very easy. You can find out anything you want. If you have someone's address, you go to public records. It's available to everybody. I can find out your name, when you bought the house, how much you bought the house for.
Okay, so yeah, I thought everybody knew this, but so my other area of practice, I talk about criminal defense a lot, but I actually do estate planning. If you go, I've got YouTube videos on it too. In estate planning, frequently we have to transfer a house to a trust, and it is freaky how easy it is to find people's deeds and everything online. Their deed of trust. The deed of trust is the mortgage, right? So I can find out how much did they actually have to borrow. But yeah, finding their deed on there and then essentially forging a notary, which is the way that people are stealing houses these days. Unfortunately, not very hard, and then people don't know about it until the damage has been done. There's good companies out there. None of them are sponsoring me right now. But there's good companies out there that are, you know, title lock companies and things like that. You should look into one of them because, yeah, it is crazy, freaky, easy to be able to find deeds and things like that and alter them.
If you have a mortgage on the house, I can find out your interest rate and your payment, all based on going to public records and looking that information up. Step 2, I would create a survey, and I would go out and I would survey homeless people. And I would ask for their name, date of birth, social security number, enough information for me to then order their birth certificate, social security card. I can then take a fake identity or synthetic identity, anybody I want. And what I can do is I can create a title to that house in that person's name. I then record it. It takes the name of the person that owns the house and it puts it in the new person's name. I can satisfy any mortgages by creating additional fake documents. So now I own the house. Step 3, I could put that house on the market. I could sell that house. I could refinance that house. It's not nearly as difficult as it should be.
What type of tools would you use to pull off this scam?
Let me show you. So we got driver's licenses. Obviously, you need passports. Also, you would need credit cards. The other thing is I would have burner phones so that if the bank needed to verify employment or that they had money in the bank or anything along those lines, I could grab the phone and it would have a little information sheet and I would know this phone goes to the bank. I would pick it up and act like I was from their employer.
All right, so how did you get caught?
Dateline NBC News was coming out with a special on me and I knew that was about to happen. So I decided to go to Australia. And what happened was I was having people that I knew cash checks for me so that I could get a couple $1 million as quickly as possible in cash. My girlfriend at the time confided in one of her girlfriends, and that girlfriend called the Secret Service, and for a $10,000 reward, she turned me in. They watched my house for 3 days, and one day I showed up and they jumped out of the cars and get on the ground.
Why did you go to a Western country that extradites? I mean, look, I'm not trying to help people be better criminals, but seriously, Australia? Like, I thought he was gonna say, yeah, I went to Cuba, you know, somewhere that it might not extradite, one of the South American countries, one of the African countries that might not extradite to the US. He went to Australia, like one of our biggest allies, and people that you just call him up, be like, yeah, you got one of our criminals. Oh, we'll send him home. Okay.
On the ground.
Do you regret pulling these scams?
I would say I don't have an overwhelming amount of guilt that I should have just because I have antisocial disorder, just like most criminals do. I don't have an overwhelming amount of guilt in that aspect. What I have the guilt for is I lost the opportunity to have a relationship with my son. I was not there for my parents in their elder years.
But now you're on the other side of it, and you say that people still fall for this scam all the time today?
Yeah, absolutely. It's easier to do now than it was 10, 20 years ago. The only way to really stop this scam is to monitor your title.
That's what he just said is absolutely 100% true. So while I was still in undergrad, before I even went to law school, I was doing a property law class, and they had us go to our county recorders, and they said, you're gonna have to search, and I can't even remember the name of this registry that they had. It was like owner-buyer registry, something, grantee-grantor registry, something like that. The reason I can't remember the name of it is it didn't exist by the time I graduated law school. But they sent me to the county recorders and said, yeah, you gotta do a chain of title. Pick a property and do a chain of title on it, and turn in the chain of title, that's your assignment. Okay. I went to Maricopa County Recorders. I live in Maricopa County down in Phoenix, Arizona. Went in there and they said, yeah, we don't have that. And I contacted my professor, said they don't have that. He said, no, everybody has that. It's a mistake. I went back and they said, no, we don't have it. We are the first fully digital county recorders in the United States. Tell your professor it doesn't exist here. So it was only that long ago that things were actually done in person, you know, by hand. You had to literally put this new title in this file cabinet, giant file cabinet to show, okay, it went from Bob to Dave to Jill to show who the owners of this property were. Now it's 100% online. If you give me your address, I can find the deed to the house. I can know who owns that house like that. So that's what he's talking about here, why it's easier now.
Public records out there allow you to sign up for a system where they will notify you of any changes to your title.
So if someone's watching this or their family owns property...
Who's here? Hi, wife.
Hi, Karki.
Everybody say hi to wife. We're live on YouTube. You want to say hi?
You're live?
Yeah.
Shut up, are you?
Yeah. Yeah. Here.
Sorry.
You're good.
I'll leave it on mouth press.
Okay. Well, that's fun. That was my wife. That was Carrie. Okay. She didn't get to do a cameo. She didn't even say hi. That's rude. All right.
What are some of the steps they can do to protect themselves?
Probably the best course of action is to go to a monitoring service that will monitor the title of your home for you. And a lot of those services actually act as an advocate and will help correct any damage that's been done by a fraudster.
Matthew, I appreciate you coming by and sharing your insight. Hopefully this protects someone from becoming a victim. If you want to see more videos like this, click the video here. And thank you so much for watching.
If you want to see more videos of Law by Mike doing this motion over and over again, subscribe to Law by Mike. I know, I'm teasing. I know I've got habits where I do the same motions and things like that over and over, but his is just so apparent to me. Okay, pause, Mike, pause. For crying out loud. That was actually a really entertaining video. I don't know if I would call it law. I mean, it was more like criminal avoidance, something along those lines. But I like Stuff by Mike. Stuff by Mike is a great channel. It doesn't necessarily have to be law. Stuff by Mike is a lot of fun to watch. So anyway, thank you, Stuff by Mike. It was fun reviewing your video. We'll see you guys next time. You like that? All right, we had a bunch of people commenting on there.
Yeah.
Did you say you're making anchovy soup? What the heck? I did not say that, no.
Okay, let me turn this guy off so that way it can cool down. Transfer this over to hard drive. Got a little break time.
All right. Making anchovy soup. What the heck was that?
I have no idea.
Which one are we doing next?
How many people we got? We got 4 people on there. Okay. Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
You want to do a TikTok live or a YouTube live on your phone?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. 11 gigabytes. That's actually not too bad.
Okay.
Let's see what we got. Muted.